Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because we're looking at something truly mind-bending, the massive urban revolution waiting for us over the next few decades. I mean, have you ever stopped to look at your city's skyline and just wondered, what is this going to look like when your grandkids are walking those streets? Or, maybe floating down them. Today, we're exploring the architecture of the future, specifically how we're going to live in the year 2100. Our coastlines are actively shifting, the climate is changing, and the cities of tomorrow literally cannot and will not look like the ones we have today. We are on the verge of turning the city itself into a living machine. Let's kick things off with a pretty undeniable piece of data that's driving this whole shebang. 10 billion. By the year 2100, our global population is projected to hit 10 billion people. Just wrap your head around that for a second. We're talking about humanity on an immense, truly global scale that we have never seen before. But, well, here's the catch. Land is getting incredibly scarce. Right at the exact same time our population is absolutely booming, climate change is actively reshaping our coastlines, shrinking our livable footprint. So we've got way more people than ever before and way less traditional land to put them on, which naturally brings us to the ultimate dilemma of our century. So, where are we all gonna live? Okay, let's dive into this, because the solutions we are looking at are nothing short of a total urban revolution. We're about to go on a dynamic spatial tour of our future habitats. We're not just looking at shiny new buildings here, we're talking about entirely new ways of existing on Earth. We're going to see how human ingenuity is going to completely transform the very concept of a habitat, taking us from way up in the clouds right down to the ocean floor. Section 1. The rise of vertical cities. Building upwards. As ground space inevitably runs out, and climate change kind of dictates where we can safely spread, architects and urban planners have landed on a simple truth. We have to scale up. But these future skyscrapers, they aren't going to be those regular office buildings you just visit for 8 hours a day. Nope, they are going to be fully self-contained vertical ecosystems. Think of them almost like small, independent towns stacked incredibly high into the sky. Step 1 is food. Vertical farms using advanced closed-loop hydroponics are built right into the structure itself. That means the building literally grows nutrient-dense crops for the people living there without a single ounce of soil. Step 2, integrated water recycling. Highly advanced systems ensure that condensation and wastewater are continuously purified and renewed. And step 3, which I think is absolutely fascinating, is high-speed maglev elevators. See, these structures will be so tall that traditional steel cables would just snap under their own weight. Magnetic levitation will allow these frictionless transport pods to travel not just vertically up and down, but horizontally across interconnected megastructures, seamlessly shuttling you across your aerial neighborhood. It all boils down to this radical new reality. You might never need to leave your building to work, shop, or exercise. Take a second and actually project yourself into this space. Imagine your entire physical life thriving within one massive, brilliant structure. It's a completely self-sustaining environment. You wake up, grab breakfast that was grown on floor 82, hop into a maglev pod horizontally over to a gym on floor 85, and then meet a friend at a park all the way up on floor 100. It's this enclosed, highly efficient world. But what if we don't just build up? What if we look to the 70% of the Earth's surface that's covered by water? Section 2. Life beneath the waves. Amphibious cities. With rising oceans threatening our historic coastal hubs, we basically have to look to the water itself as our new foundation. Enter the amphibious city. These are modular, floating urban environments designed specifically to adjust to rising water levels. Instead of hopelessly fighting the oceans, the architecture of 2100 completely embraces them. Modularity is the absolute key to surviving and thriving on these changing seas. Rather than rigid concrete structures battling the tide, these cities just ride it. They adapt. If the water level rises, well, the city simply rises with it. They're these dynamic, floating networks that can expand or reconfigure whenever the population needs change. Now, what's really interesting about this is that some visionary designers don't just stop at the surface. They are proposing entirely underwater metropolises. Instead of dealing with surface storms, we're talking about tapping into localized geothermal vents right on the ocean floor. That gives these resilient, clean grids virtually limitless thermal energy. These deep-sea neighborhoods would be seamlessly connected by pressurized undersea tunnels and high-speed aquatic transport. It's a completely different way of living, fully immersed in the marine environment and entirely safe from the unpredictable climate events happening up top. But whether you're floating on the waves, living on the ocean floor, or reaching into the clouds, keeping these complex environments running requires something extraordinary. Section 3, the smart city. AI as the urban planner. Coordinating all of this massive survival infrastructure across a grid? Yeah, that requires a lightning-fast brain. The city of 2100 absolutely cannot rely on human reaction times. Instead, it becomes a living machine, managed by a central artificial intelligence. This AI handles real-time control over the most vital urban functions. It uses predictive load balancing to flawlessly optimize traffic flow, meaning those self-driving transport pods communicate in milliseconds to literally eliminate traffic jams. No more rush hour. It manages automated energy distribution, seamlessly dimming streetlights the absolute second no one is around to save power. And it coordinates real-time waste management, redirecting resources dynamically. It's the ultimate efficiency engine, keeping millions of people safe, supplied, and moving without a single hiccup.
But let's pause for a second here, because this high-tech urbanism comes with a pretty intriguing trade-off. If the city knows your every move, is it still a place of freedom? To optimize traffic, energy, and resources without fail, that central AI needs constant, uninterrupted data. And yeah, that includes your data. Where you are, where you're going, exactly what resources you're consuming. It brings up a very real, absolutely crucial question about privacy. How much of our personal anonymity are we willing to trade for a super smooth, hyper-safe, zero-waste urban environment? It's a reality the citizens of 2100 are going to have to navigate every single day.
Section 4, the end of the commute, the digital realm. Let's zoom back into the human perspective for a minute and talk about a massive philosophical shift in how we actually use these spaces. Because honestly, the biggest change might not be the buildings themselves, but why we go to them in the first place. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. Today's cities are primarily built as centers of labor. We endure terrible rush hours. We commute into the city center, all just to sit in an office building. But the city of 2100? It transforms into a vibrant center of culture, art, and community. With all the infrastructure upgrades we've talked about, the core reason for gathering in a physical city fundamentally shifts away from work and moves entirely toward human connection. This incredible shift happens because augmented reality, VR workspaces, and high-fidelity holograms make actual work a completely location-independent activity. Hyperfast connectivity means you can be in your office instantly from literally anywhere. I mean, if you can project a flawless hologram of yourself into a boardroom or just step into a fully immersive VR workspace, do you really need to travel to a physical city center? No way. Labor moves entirely into the digital ether. Actual work becomes totally untethered from geography. So when you do finally step out into your vertical city or take a pod through your amphibious community, you're doing it to experience life, to see art, to engage with your neighbors, not to clock into a cubicle. The cities of 2100 won't just be places where we sleep and work. They are going to be highly intelligent ecosystems designed to survive a rapidly changing planet. The transition to this future is definitely going to challenge our ideas of space and daily life, but it represents the next necessary leap in human civilization. So I'll leave you with this lingering, provocative question to chew on today. Which city would you choose to live in? One reaching for the clouds or one hidden beneath the waves? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep looking toward the future, and I'll see you next time.